President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports on this and other decisions taken by members towards enhancing the next level agenda.
President Muhammadu Buhari and German Chancellor Angela Merkel met in Abuja in August 2018 and committed to jointly increase the nation's electricity grid from 5 to 25 gigawatts over a three-phase program. As a result, an MOU was executed last year between the federal government and a German consortium Siemens designed to deliver the Presidential Power Initiative. At this meeting of the Federal Executive Council, members approved the ratification of President Buhari's anticipatory approval for the release of 15.21 million euros offshore and 1.70 billion naira onshore as counterpart funding for the bilateral credit facility guaranteed by the German government towards financing the grid modernization and expansion program.
This project is designed to include 23 transmission initiatives as well as 175 separate transformative projects in the electricity distribution franchises that we have in the country. The project will also support the regulator NERC towards a program for improving metering in the electricity industry in the country.
The Council also ratified 2 investment promotion and protection agreements signed in 2016 between Nigeria and Singapore on one hand, as well as Nigeria and the Kingdom of Morocco on the other.
The whole idea was to grant more protection to Nigerian investors when they invest abroad and to give Nigeria more protection when other investors come into Nigeria.
The Ministry of Environment also secured the approval of the Council for a new National Forest Policy 2020.
Why the new one? Because we realized that the old one is not catering for the current situation at hand. This is a policy that we feel will go a long way in safeguarding the economy and the planet at the same time.
For now, the minister said export of forest products has been suspended and charcoal exploitation completely banned to put a stop to environmental degradation as the nation intensifies tree planting campaign. The Federal Executive Council also ratified the Air Transport Services Agreement between Nigeria and the United States.
The U.S. has ratified its own, and the President and Council graciously accepted today to also ratify this agreement with the attendant benefits for both countries, especially as Nigeria is working towards having its own national airlines. We will not take advantage of this air transport agreement to strengthen economic, social, and cultural ties between the two countries.
In the meantime, the Council observed a moment of silence in honor of the former minister in charge of the railways in the First Republic, Abdul Ganiyu Abdul Razak. The late Abdul Ganiyu Abdul Razak, father to the incumbent governor of Kwara State, was former Nigeria's ambassador to Cote d'Ivoire, former chairman, Nigerian Body of Benchers, and was reputed as the first lawyer from northern Nigeria. The elder statesman, SGF boss Mustafa says, will be remembered for his selfless and meritorious service to the nation and humanity. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Other issues, the federal government has taken precautions against any form of disruption in the Niger Delta region, as moves are being made to bring stakeholders to a round table towards addressing issues raised recently by the local communities and seen as threats to peace, if not urgently checked. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, led a delegation of the Delta State government to the presidential villa in Abuja on the invitation by Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo. The Minister and Deputy Governor Kingsley Otuaro spoke to State House correspondent Jide Onifade after the meeting held behind closed doors.
No, really, these are routine issues. You know, these are host community issues. And when they come up, we have to deal with them early before they fester and become bigger problems. And that's why the Vice President invited the Deputy Governor of Delta State to look at the issue so that we can discuss and resolve them quickly before they become bigger issues.
We are meant to discuss. There are issues, and we have agreed, and that immediately after the Salah, then we'll have a platform to sorting out all of those issues. Yeah.
And a look at Infotech now. The federal government says it would spare no resource to improve information technology infrastructure in the country towards achieving e-governance and a robust digital economy during and after the coronavirus pandemic. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who doubles as chairman of the board of Galaxy Backbone Limited, stated this at the agency's 34th board meeting in Abuja. Let's hear from Mitari Ikban.
As part of safety measures amidst the coronavirus pandemic, the Federal Executive Council, the nation's highest decision-making body, has since resorted to video conferencing for its meetings. This entails that only members who are presenting memoranda or are statutorily required to be physically present with Mr. President attend in council chambers, while all others participate online from remote locations. The real-time online meetings require cutting-edge technology infrastructure and information security management for confidentiality. And this is where the Galaxy Backbone Limited comes in as the information technology provider of the federal government. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, affirms that the agency has indeed been the backbone of government operations.
Today we are confronted with a situation that if we did not have Galaxy Backbone, probably the functionality of government would have been seriously disrupted. So it is very, very important that we hold this meeting, and we also chart a new course. It means that even with the new norm or the new normal, government business will continue to run unabated and with little or no hindrances.
Already, preparations are ongoing to leverage on video conferencing for the next National Council of State meeting involving past Nigerian leaders. In Abuja, Mitari Ikben, NTA News.
And to speak further on that, we have an ICT expert, Ani Bedeme Udoato, via Zoom from Uyo. He's going to talk to us about that development. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I was told that you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Let's just go ahead if you can hear me loud and clear. What is expected, I'm talking about the gains now, following that development from the report you just saw for Nigeria on the federal government's heavy investment on information technology infrastructure?
Okay, that has to do with e-governance and e-government. Though more people do not differentiate this, e-governance basically has to do with the application of ICT for delivery of government services, exchange of information, communication transaction, integration of various standalone systems, which if we actually implement this, will actually reduce cost of governance in Nigeria. In a situation where we have to do government to citizen, for instance, in tax administration or in polling, that's in voting, opinion voting as well. It will go a long way to reduce cost of implementation of the electoral system, or where we have to do opinion votes. Also, in a government to government, which is what we actually call e-governance, which will include government businesses in which you don't need physical presence. It will reduce cost of traveling, cost of hotel accommodation, the what's it called, the hall event hall, where we spend so much money in this country to gather government employees for training.
Okay.
And this will go in a long way to reduce the cost of all that. Also in administration of governance to businesses, we don't have data if we bring in e-governance, that will help a lot to reduce costs.
Okay, let's look at digital economy. Which is the way to go now? How would citizens, what would you recommend for citizens to take advantage of this?
Okay, this has to do with what you're talking about has to do with the citizens keying into the digital economy,
yes,
getting themselves acquainted with what is going on in the world, especially in the use of computer and other ICT devices in transaction with government. The public sector, they are already doing it. A lot of government organizations as well, like one that I deal with, they do that a lot. I used to travel to Abuja, later on to Port Harcourt to submit invoices for services rendered to one government organization. Now I sit in my home to do that. So it reduced cost of traveling for my company, also hotel accommodation and the rest of the other things. So digital economy will actually help to reduce risk as well in traveling, reduce expenditures on certain things.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Anikbedeme Udoato. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, the possibilities are definitely endless. But let's look at the transportation sector. A train service on Kaduna-Abuja Railway resumed this Wednesday, with passengers adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocol. Abdullahi Mohammed witnessed the departure of the train from Rigasa station.
About 4 months ago was the last time a train moved from Rigasa station here in Kaduna to Abuja, and upon resumption of operations today, we have seen the first train moving out of this rail station to Abuja. And what we have observed that operations has changed inside the train. Where 3 people are supposed to sit down, we have seen that only 2 were on seat. That means social distancing has been fully adhered to. And other places that 2 passengers were supposed to sit, we saw only 1 passenger sitting down. And upon arrival here, we observed that officials were there to ensure that people wash their hands, they use sanitizers, and ticketing was very smooth.
I'm happy that they've started again.
As I was told, it's only 20 people in the first class. And I bought mine, but the money is doubled, which I felt it.
At about 40 minutes after 6 this morning, we saw the first train upon resumption of operations here in Rigasa Station, Kaduna, moving out with passengers towards Abuja. And you can see the vicinity of the station empty, the tracks also empty. My name is Abdullahi Mohammed, reporting from the Rigasa train station in Kaduna.
Thank you very much, Abdullahi. And we hear it is good news as train services at the Abuja-Kaduna rail line reopened to business after over 4 months of shutdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. Olusheye Adiagbo, who was at the Idu train station to observe resumption activities, reports that there was strict compliance to the Presidential Task Force directives on COVID-19 protocols.
Things must take their course, and in this instance, observance to the safety and health protocols of COVID-19 is priority as security operatives and staff of the Nigerian Railway Corporation enforce compliance. From the temperature check to application of hand sanitizer, disinfecting luggage, passengers with their face masks on, as well as sanitizers, must make use of the markings on the floor while maintaining physical distancing. The exercise went on seamlessly from arrival to the point of ticketing down to boarding. For Azara Bala Askia and a cross-section of the passengers, it is exciting to board the train again.
When I saw the announcement of the train, I was really jumping like a small baby. I was so happy what the government has done.
Going forward, I expect that they'll maintain this because people's lives and safety is at risk. It can't be the way it was before. So I'm very happy with it, and I expect the government will maintain this standard.
1 person per seat. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, was also at the station to check the level of compliance with the COVID-19 guidelines, instructing security operatives to be more responsive. passengers did not know what to make of the number of trips, which were just 4 on the day one schedule, especially after promises that more trips will be available on resumption of train services. This did not go down well with the minister.
When the DMU comes again? No. We promise everybody that we'll be running hourly basis. We cannot, because we're waiting for ceremony and waiting for DMU to arrive. Not even if you don't run an hour early, run 1 hour 30 minutes or every 2 hours. You do have, sir? Yeah, so why are you not doing it? That's what we said. Okay, sir. We are going to start it. I'm here tomorrow. Don't say, okay, sir, I'm coming here tomorrow.
Already, there are indications of good business prospects as activities return to the Abuja-Kaduna rail line, especially with the Eid Kabir celebration. Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Good news indeed. Let's go on a break. We're back shortly. Stay tuned.
The incessant reports of rape and sexual offences in recent times is indeed worrisome. Are you a victim? It may be rape, incest, sexual abuse or sodomy. I have good news for you. NAPTIP implements the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, and we now have the National Sexual Offenders Register, which records the names of all perpetrators. This register aims to name and shame all perpetrators to serve as a deterrent. If you are a victim, seek help now, and we assure you that justice will be served.
Register sexual abuse cases and perpetrators on www.nsod.naptip.gov.ng or call the Sexual Offenders Register hotline on 0703 0000 203 or NAPTIP hotlines on 0803 220 3462. 0818 384 6635, social media platforms and iReport app. This message is brought to you by NAPTIP with support from ROLAC, funded by the European Union.
Thanks for staying with us. President Muhammadu Buhari will observe the Eid al-Kabir prayers with his family at home, just as he did during the Eid al-Fitr a little over 2 months ago, in line with advisories from the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says, in wishing all Muslims a safe and happy Eid, the President reiterated the protocols as issued by the PTF that large gatherings as much as possible should be discouraged. Where small groups choose to hold the Eid together, face masks are absolutely necessary as it is social distancing. Advisedly, such prayers should hold outdoors and worshippers are encouraged to bring their own prayer mats in order to stop the spread of the disease. The President will not be receiving Salah homages by religious, community, party and government leaders and urges all citizens to observe the occasion as advised by state and local authorities. And to COVID-19 update, Gambia's Vice President tests positive for coronavirus as outbreak in Hong Kong overwhelms medical system. Joyce Ometu is standing by for details.
The World Health Organization has warned that increasing infections among young people may be behind the latest spikes in coronavirus cases across Europe. European Regional Director for WHO, Dr. Hans Klug, said the agency have received reports from several health authorities of a higher proportion of COVID-19 infection among young people. And reports from Hong Kong says the country's chief executive, Carrie Lam, has sounded alarm over the city's health system. She said with the new wave of mostly locally transmitted infections, Hong Kong is on the verge of a large-scale community outbreak, which may lead to a collapse of the country's hospital system. In the meantime, Vietnam is on a high alert and bracing for a rise in coronavirus cases after reports of new infections in the capital, Hanoi. The country's prime minister warned on Wednesday that every province and every city is at risk, adding that the new wave appeared to be different to that seen in Vietnam earlier this year. Turning attention to Africa, Gambia's presidency said Vice President Issatu Toure has tested positive for COVID-19, leading President Adama Barrow to enter self-isolation. Continent-wide, Africa has registered 880,102 cases, 18,593 fatalities, and 529,376 patients recovered. In Nigeria, 41,804 cases have been confirmed, 868 deaths recorded, while 18,764 persons discharged. On the global picture, figures published by the Coronavirus Resource Center in Johns Hopkins University show that global cases have now crossed 17 million. Fatality figures stand at 665,663, while more than 10 million patients have recovered. And that's a global update on COVID-19. Thanks for watching. I am Joyce Ometu.
Thanks, Joyce. Infectious diseases have been around for as long as one could remember, but little was known of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. The outbreak of COVID-19 has changed all that, as NCDC is now a household name in Nigeria. Well, beyond this popularity, what value has it added in the fight of combating COVID-19? House of Representatives Committee on COVID-19 went visiting to find out. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
When the NCDC gave the go-ahead for this visit, it felt there was need to go beyond rhetorics, and so it took the lawmakers to the National Reference Laboratory in Abuja. This facility houses more than 1 million samples of various diseases, including more than 40,000 samples for coronavirus.
It's difficult to manage a process that has to work efficiently every day of the week for 6 months now.
What we should do is find ways of getting all these facilities to work optimally. It doesn't matter, give us what you need, how many staff you need.
After the facility tour, the lawmakers commended the efforts of NCDC so far, but called for overall enhanced response.
There is a need, DG, to increase the number of collection centers, and I want to plead on behalf of the leadership of the House to bring a collection center to the National Assembly.
What is the situation of this in Kano now? Because at the initial stage of this COVID, we that came from Kano, everybody is even afraid to sit near me.
The Director General NCDC says battle with COVID-19 can't be done solo.
The group of questions around test kits, treatment, vaccines, we're working on all fronts. I know a lot of times everyone says we have to look inwards, but we also have to look outwards so that we collaborate.
He suggested elevation of health security as the level of policy and national discourse. Lami Ali, NTA News.
The fourth evacuation flight from the USA arrives in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, with 270 evacuees this Wednesday at exactly 13:10 hours via Ethiopian Air. All evacuees tested negative to COVID-19 before boarding and are now on 14-day self-isolation as mandated by Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Government must embrace the culture of savings for the rainy day to adequately address possible future emergencies like COVID-19. This was the thinking at the fourth quadrennial delegate conference of senior civil servants of Nigeria. Let's hear more from Austin Ayembe.
For the fourth time in 16 years, members of the senior civil servants of Nigeria converged to review the past, deliberate on the present, as well as the change in leadership of the union. NLC President Ayuba Waba says the Orasunians report cannot be adopted without input from the association.
For you to merge two agencies, the first thing is actually to amend the law. And the process of amending the law, there will be public hearing. We will be there and our voice will be heard. If it's about job saving costs, we are ready to discuss saving costs. But if it's about people losing their job, we will resist it, because one of the challenges that the COVID-19 has posed is the fact that many people are losing their jobs.
The outgone national president Bobo Ikigama once spoke adherence to public service rules to curb irregular appointment into the civil service.
This will guarantee equity, fairness, justice, as well as restore sanity in the system,
so that the association can continue to work stronger. Let me assure you and other outgoing CWC members that you all remain inseparable components of our great union and should be willing and ready at all times to undertake national assignments as the need arises.
The Nigerian civil service is responsible for the implementation of government's policies and programs. In Abuja, Austin Anyibe, NTA News.
We're done with the news. We do appreciate your time with us. I'm Ruth Aguela. But just before we go, we'll leave you with this message.